Julia's reaction is being yelled at is good, but that's something so. Like, so the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. So let's into this reaction in 3, 2, 1. Uh.
Hey guys, was that aesthetic? I was trying to go for an aesthetic like thing there. Just let me know. All right, sorry about that. I had to move to a second location with slightly less flattering light, but it's okay. That's because it's really late. I don't know if you've noticed the trend with these videos, but I like to record them kind of late. You know, I like to imagine myself as an early bird, but I'm not. In an ideal world, I feel like we're all early birds. We're all waking up at 8 a.m. Like, some of you might not consider that early, but that's early, okay? We'd all be waking up at 8 a.m. and going to sleep at 10 p.m. But that's not how it works, because it's 1 a.m. right now, and let's be honest, I'm not getting ready for bed anytime soon. And if you didn't notice, I'm not at school right now. I'm back home for the weekend, and that means I have no bedtime. By the time I post this video, I'll probably be back at school, just because I like to keep you guys guessing. I don't like you guys to know where I am. So, what did that little intro have to do with this video? Not much. I just wanted to kind of mix it up. You know, I like to keep things moving and changing. The thing I wanted to talk about today is getting yelled at. Throughout my very long almost 19 years now, I have been yelled at a lot, but I've also tried my best to avoid being yelled at a lot. Unfortunately, being enrolled in a ton of different sports, you get yelled at a lot between however many coaches you have. And to a certain extent, you get used to being yelled at, which I think is a good thing. You don't want to be cracking under pressure every time a coach yells at you. It's not a good way to be. But just because one coach yells at you a lot and constantly doesn't affect you, doesn't mean that another coach that doesn't yell a lot won't affect you. Now that can be applied directly to different sports coaches, but in the case I'm talking about today, it's teaching. Teachers, you aren't as likely to get yelled at by them if you know what you're doing. If you're not messing up, if you're not goofing around, you're probably not gonna get yelled at that much. But unfortunately, we're not all perfect, so eventually, we're gonna get yelled at by someone. And the thing I'm talking about today was not math. It wasn't a high-level math. It wasn't a hard reading class or a hard writing class. It wasn't even a religion class. I can't really think of why you would be yelled at in a religion class, but let's not think about it. The class I'm talking about today is Acting 101, Intro to Acting. If you're a frequent viewer of this channel, you probably know that I'm a big theater fan. I'm not a theater fanatic, but I love a good Broadway play. I love singing, and I love the fact that people can be so passionate about theater. But with all that love I have for it, I've never participated in it. I've never been in a show in my life, even though I kind of want to. But in my summer between sophomore and junior year, I built up the courage and I said, okay, I'm gonna try out this acting class. It's probably not gonna be that hard, but I think it would be a fun kind of thing to get me a little bit into theater. It wasn't necessarily a hard class in the fact that you had to do really, really well to get an A. If you thought about it like that, it was an easy A. But the thing is, no one that wants an easy A is gonna be taking Intro to Acting. Because to me at least, acting, more than math or writing or English, is terrifying. The entire point of this class was to get up in front of a crowd of maybe only 15 people, but it was 15 people that you weren't that familiar with. Now, pretty much all the kids in the class were also really into theater, so there was really nothing to be afraid of, but the fact that you had to deliver this monologue in character was terrifying to me. But back to the story about being yelled at. My teacher in that class, let's call him Mr. J. That sounds kind of cool and sleek. So Mr. J was the nicest, coolest teacher ever. He made the class really fun and engaging and a place that you wanted to go to. And he was probably in my top 5 teachers at the school I went to. And the best thing about him was that he wanted you to really care about the class. In this class, there were many different monologues that you had to do, whether it was with a group or by yourself, or also by yourself, or by yourself again. But the point of these projects was to get you into character, get you out of yourself and into something else, acting, which is something that I was totally unfamiliar with. I do YouTube. My entire character is me. Maybe it's a little bit played up, but it's still me. So if I'm being asked to put a mask on and walk around the room like a chicken, it's a little bit scary and weird. But eventually we were assigned something that we had to learn and recite in front of the class, which I was very nervous about. And I believe it was a sonnet, and I think I can remember the sonnet number that I did actually. This is how ingrained in my mind it is. Number 16. Now if I'm wrong, it's gonna sound a little silly, but I'm pretty sure it was number 16. Now sometimes in acting class we would get a period where it would just be for rehearsal. And I'm not gonna lie, on some of these days, I took it as just a day to do nothing. Because to me, how could I rehearse this sonnet that I'm already so scared of doing in front of the class in the class? Or it's not that it didn't make sense, it was just that it was too scary to me. So what I did was I sat in the class and did nothing. Now a couple other kids were doing this too, so Mr. J noticed. And since Mr. J noticed this, he got up and he kind of yelled at us. Now it wasn't crazy screaming or whatever, but it was like, it was firm, like he was upset. And rightfully so, I would be pretty annoyed too. But to me, I didn't take it as a sign that, oh, maybe I should actually take this a little bit seriously. It was, why am I being yelled at for something I'm too nervous to do? And for a while, I was pretty upset. But eventually, there came a sort of turning point where I started to realize that Mr. J was completely right. I was just slacking off in the class when I should have been preparing for the speech. And once I realized this, I understood that, yeah, this is an elective, and yeah, the grade in this class is never gonna really matter on a transcript. But just because I knew I was probably gonna end up with an A, didn't mean that the class was easy. And I tried to get a little bit more into it than I had been. And to be honest, I think Acting 101 ended up being one of, if not the most important class that I had taken in high school. Which is weird to say, and you know, there are a lot of impactful classes that I took in high school.
Yeah.
But this was really important because it taught me to be able to get up in front of a crowd and speak in something that I'm not comfortable in and something that I thought was kind of weird and just get up and do it. Which I honestly think not a lot of people have done or have the skill to do. And that's not to say that I'm perfect at it. I'm definitely not. But I will say that I took a public speaking course in college this year, a college level speaking course, and I got the A. And I did pretty well. But it wasn't even that I did pretty well, it was that I wasn't as nervous to go up and speak in front of a crowd. Because instead of being like, oh, well, okay, I'm just too nervous to do this, so I'm not gonna really try at it, I just tried my best to be entertaining when I spoke, and I tried my best to engage myself in the stuff, and it worked. And I owe it all to Acting 101. So I wanna say shout out to you, Mr. J. I don't know how you'd be seeing this if you are, but if you are, that's pretty cool. And I also wanted to let you know that you asked me to be in one of the plays, and I said no, because I was too nervous. And you said, are you sure? I think you should probably join. I think you would like it. And I said, no, I don't know if that's for me. You were totally right. I totally should have done theater. I totally should have tried theater out. When I look back at my regrets in high school, not doing theater is one of them. So I'm sorry for not listening to you, but hey, at least I learned a lot from your class. That's all I have to say for today. If you enjoyed, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to The Nothing Show, video right here, subscribe right here. I'll see ya.
Wow. That was being yo at a group by the 17 so. The link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out and drop a like if you like and comment down below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new and click the bell if you want to be on if you want to be notified when I upload. You know what? Bye. Wow. And I didn't know that it being that would be good. I didn't know that. Wow. You learn something new every day. Wow.